Quick question before we start. Did you know you can grow fresh food on your kitchen counter with nothing more than a jar and some water? The first time I saw these tiny seeds, I honestly thought, there's no way this turns into food. But a few days later, there were fresh sprouts sitting on my counter, and I was completely sold. Growing sprouts in a jar is one of the easiest food habits I've ever stuck with. No soil, no garden, no special skills. Just a simple routine that actually works. So grab a coffee and hang out with me for a bit. I'll show you exactly how I do it step by step. And by the end, you'll be ready to try it yourself. I jump right in, using a 32-ounce wide-mouth mason jar with a sprouting lid. I set it at an angle on a sprouting stand. For seeds, I'm using a broccoli and friends mix, rainbow radish, and daikon radish, about 2 tablespoons per jar. And that's it. Just add filtered water and you're ready to start. On day 1, I add 2 tablespoons of seeds to each clean jar. If I'm using more than one type, I label them. Once they start sprouting, they all look the same. Then I pour in 2 cups of water. Make sure the seeds are fully covered, screw on the sprouting lids, and set the jars on the counter. This overnight soak wakes the seeds up and gets everything started. And that's it for the day. Sprouting has a strong do-nothing phase, and I'm all for it. The next morning, I drain out the soaking water right through the sprouting lids. I don't take the lids off at all. Those seeds are tiny and fast, and I've learned that lesson once already. Then I add fresh, cold water, gently swish the jar around, and drain again. After that, I place the jars upside down at a slight angle on the sprouting stand. That tilt is important. It lets excess water drain out and gives the sprouts air. If they sit in water, they don't grow. They complain. No stand? No problem. I've propped jars against a wall on a folded towel plenty of times. Just make sure they're tilted and not flat. I keep the jars out of direct sunlight and repeat this rinse and drain 1 to 2 more times during the day. This keeps everything fresh and happy. Day 3 is usually when things start getting interesting. This is when the seeds really start waking up. I keep doing the same rinse and drain routine 1 to 2 times a day, lids still on. And at this point, something pretty cool is happening. Inside the seed, all the stored energy that's been sitting there quietly suddenly kicks into gear. This is often when I start seeing those tiny white tails popping out. That little tail is actually the root, and it's the seed's first move toward becoming a plant. Even though I've done this so many times, I still pause and look at it for a second. It's hard not to. It really does feel a little magical. You might also notice the seeds swelling and softening around this time. That's completely normal and a good sign. They're absorbing water, breaking down their stored nutrients, and turning them into energy for growth. And if you don't see much happening yet, don't worry. Different seeds sprout at different speeds, and some like to take their time. Day 3 isn't about perfection. It's just about staying consistent and letting the seeds do what they're meant to do. By day 4, the sprouts usually look noticeably more confident. They're longer, fuller, and finally starting to resemble actual food instead of a science experiment you forgot about on the counter. This is also the day I usually stop worrying and start trusting the process. If you've made it this far, you're doing everything right. The seeds have figured out what they're supposed to do, and now your job is mostly just not to mess it up. I don't change anything at this point. Same routine. Rinse, drain, tilt, and let them do their thing. One personal tip here is to resist the urge to rinse more often than needed. More water doesn't mean faster growth. It just means soggier sprouts. I also like to give the jars a quick visual check to make sure nothing is clumping together. If they look a little crowded, I gently rotate the jar so everything shifts and gets some air. Other than that, consistency really is doing all the work here, and this is the day you can start feeling quietly proud of yourself. On day 5, the jars are usually pretty full, and this is when I catch myself checking on them more often. Not because they need it, but because I'm genuinely excited. At this point, they've grown so much that it's hard not to peek every time I walk past the counter. I keep rinsing and draining once or twice a day, just like before, making sure there's good airflow and absolutely no standing water at the bottom of the jar. One of my personal tips here is to give the jar a gentle shake before tilting it back onto the stand. It helps separate the sprouts a bit and keeps them from clumping together. This is also the day I pay closer attention to how they smell. Healthy sprouts should smell fresh and clean. Like rainy day or fresh greens. If they ever smell off, that's usually a sign they need better drainage or a little more airflow. And this is definitely when I start planning how I'm going to use them. I picture them on sandwiches, tossed into salads, or piled onto wraps. I consider this part essential. Not just because it's fun, but because it reminds me why I started sprouting in the first place. Once the sprouts are about 1 inch long, they're ready, and this is honestly one of my favorite moments in the whole process. At this point, they look full, fresh, and very clearly like food, which still feels a little magical every time. It's that moment where you realize, oh wow, this actually worked. If I want them a bit greener, I'll place the jars in indirect sunlight for a day before harvesting. Nothing intense, just gentle light near a window. I like to rotate the jars once or twice, so all the sprouts get their turn, instead of one side doing all the work. This step is optional, but it does give them a nicer color and makes them look extra fresh. When it's time to harvest, I take the sprouts out of the jar and give them a really thorough rinse. This is one of those steps I don't rush anymore. Early on, I learned that taking an extra minute here makes a big difference. I want to rinse away any loose seed hulls and make sure everything feels clean, crisp, and fresh. I usually reach for a salad spinner at this point, and I highly recommend it if you have one. It makes drying the sprouts so much easier and saves a lot of time. Plus, the drier the sprouts are now, the better they'll store later. This is one of those little habits that pays off every single time. After spinning, I spread the sprouts out on a baking sheet lined with paper towels, keeping each variety separate. I let them sit for about 30 minutes, just to make sure any extra moisture has time to evaporate. This step really helps with storage later. Once they're dry, I transfer the sprouts to an airtight container lined with a clean paper towel. That paper towel might seem like a small detail, but it makes a big difference. It absorbs excess moisture and keeps the sprouts fresh, crisp, and happy for as long as possible. These sprouts are best eaten fairly soon, but they'll keep in the fridge for up to 3 days. I add them to salads, sandwiches, wraps, grain bowls, and sometimes I just grab a handful straight from the container while standing in the kitchen. No judgment. Growing sprouts in a jar is one of those small habits that quietly becomes part of your routine. It doesn't take much time, it doesn't take much space, and it's surprisingly satisfying to grow something right on your counter. If you've been curious but hesitant, I hope this makes it feel doable. Start simple, don't overthink it, and let the seeds handle the rest. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you in the next video. Probably rinsing another jar, coffee in hand.